Carefully.
Hey! So, part 2 of our two-parter, our first ever marathon. We are back from Run Disney Marathon Weekend. Oh my gosh, did we do it? Stick around to find out.
We did it! So, we completed our first full marathon.
Right.
We got these really, really awesome medals. We all know Run Disney does the best medals. Super heavy duty, really nice little strap here. Everything's really, really nice.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
We got these exclusive, can't buy them, Mickey finisher ears. We thought we might wear them the rest of the trip, but it was too hot, so we didn't. So,
It was.
Okay, so we have some things to talk about.
Now let's talk about it.
First stop.
Let's start with our journey. 28 weeks of training.
28 weeks.
You followed us along. We have our sticker system on our fridge.
Right, keeps us motivated. We have a column for every day of the week, and a row for every week of the training.
Right.
We give ourselves stickers when we do whatever it is we're supposed to be doing that day. So
you've been with us. You saw us dancing.
We did some polka.
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
We talked about that with you.
Weightlifting. And some yoga.
Foam rolling. Running. Coach Millie stuff.
Coach Millie. Of course he's in here because we're here talking.
Yeah.
Just want to be part of
the
group,
you've seen
guys.
all of that, and if you're watching our videos, at the end of every video, you see us sticking our accomplishments via stickers on our calendar, and then you saw an entire week plus where we did nothing because I had surgery.
Yeah, so challenges too. It wasn't all progress. We had some setbacks. Okay,
so our journey, we learned a lot about our bodies.
Yeah.
About training.
We, I suppose for the weekend that we had on race weekend, we're fortunate that we live in a very warm climate. So we learned some things about how we do, say, mentally on really, really, really long, hot runs. Yeah. So we were prepared in that regard.
A little delirious.
Yeah, we're a little out of it.
A little ready for a real meal.
We knew that was a possibility leading into this, so that was some good preparation for us because it was an extraordinarily warm weekend in Orlando. So what else did we learn? We learned about fueling. We definitely need to make sure we take enough PB honeys and Jelly Bellies and drink water every chance we get, which we do at the park where we're running.
Just to say, we had the perfect amount on the marathon.
We did.
So throughout training, we were trying to figure out how many sandwiches do we make, how many bags of our energy Jelly Bellies do we take. Yeah. And on race day, I can say we took the perfect amount. So the training really came through in that regard. We also learned other things like replenishing fluids. It's not just about water; it's about electrolytes. Yeah. So thankfully. We got some tips about drinking pickle water, believe it or not. Really, really good thing.
We also made a DIY electrolyte squirt drink at home, which was basically a margarita without the tequila. Yeah. So it was water and ice and like the juice of a lemon, juice of a lime, and a little bit of salt, and it was perfect.
It was perfect. So, we learned that about ourselves. In terms of how your body reacts the longer you run, we learned a lot. You followed us along when Laura got some new shoes. She was fitted for new shoes. Got some inserts. I got some inserts as well because my feet just, started complaining a lot. And it didn't really have anything to do with the shoes because I was fitted for my shoes as well. It really was just the length of the runs.
Yeah, when you're pounding your feet for that long, they're small bones. They need some help.
And I learned another thing too. You tie your shoes because you want them to stay on, but if you tie them too tight, then when your feet start to swell after 20 plus miles, it can become really painful. So understanding that ahead of time really helped us on marathon weekend day.
Right.
So that was good.
So we learned a whole lot over the past 28 weeks. And I think, leading into marathon weekend, we felt prepared. We were still pretty anxious, but
the training was fantastic for us.
We were confident going in.
Yeah,
the longest one we did was 22 miles. We felt great. Mm-hmm. We felt good.
Right. And so let's talk about our time there. We flew in. And we got in on Friday. You have to go to the Expo. Mm-hmm. You have to go. You have to take your paperwork.
Yeah, there's no day of pickup of packets like at most races. So you have to go to the Expo, turn in your release form, pick up your stuff. So we picked up our packets, and then we went and picked up our T-shirts through the Expo. And the way we're kind of introverted, so the way we operate at Expo is just kind of put your head down and walk through all the vendors as fast as you can.
Yeah,
don't make eye contact and just get in, get out. So the way Disney sets it up, you go to one location to pick up your packet, and then you have to go through the whole Expo, like the very back of the room at the Expo, to get your T-shirts.
Right.
So we made a little beeline through there, made a beeline out.
And however, we tried on our T-shirts.
Well, we held them up. Did you try yours on?
Yeah, I put it on.
In the past, we've had weird size T-shirts.
Great.
Yeah.
Fits great. And they're nice.
Yeah.
Check out those T-shirts.
They're cute. And they're long sleeves. We rarely get long sleeve T-shirts.
And they have the...
other side.
Oh. Yeah, they need to park.
All the parks, because we ran through all 4 of the main theme parks. So, cute shirt. So then we got out of the Expo, and we tried to go buy the official merchandise. That was our last stop on the way out, and it was just really kind of wiped out by the time we got there. We normally, our last 2 races, we buy a mug, and they were like travel mugs, but we don't want a travel mug. We want drink coffee in our kitchen mugs. So we bought 1 pin. Bought a little pin at the Expo, and that was
commemorative marathon pin.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, it's
pretty. So
pretty
got that, and then went back to the hotel.
Right.
And then the next day, we got up. Took it super easy. Had a nice healthy breakfast.
Super chill, yeah.
We had a bagel and some fruit, and then all we did basically on this day was eat. That's why we run.
Got a card.
So we had a reservation at Mama. We had a reservation at Mama Melrose, so we went and got some pasta and some little flatbreads. And then we were fortunate enough to be in a hotel room that had a little kitchenette. So for dinner, we actually took a bag of pasta with us because, they always say, don't do anything you're not accustomed to on race day. Well, we're accustomed to eating a bag of pasta the night before. Yeah. So we took a bag of pasta. We ate it for dinner. Yeah. We bought a nice little pastry to have for dessert. Yeah.
Delicious stuff.
And it was all really good.
And then, right before bedtime, which was no later than 7 p.m., we laid out all of our stuff.
We had to get everything ready. So we were fortunate to have that room that night. We were unfortunate to have to change rooms on the day of the marathon. Yeah. So we actually had to check out of our room at like 2 a.m. when we left the room to go catch the bus. So we had to make sure everything was packed, everything was put away, all of our race stuff was out. We had a plan for what to do with our sleep clothes and our toiletries and stuff to get it all like packed up and ready to go. So we got all that laid out. We got our food kind of prepped. I made the sandwiches in the morning, but we had everything like set aside, ready to go. And then we went to bed at about 7. A little bit later than we were hoping for, but it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
1 o'clock in the morning, the alarm goes off. Because we have to go down the bellhop, we have to pass up our bags, we had stuff to do.
So here's the deal. This year, they decided to start the race at 5
instead of 5:30.
Instead of 5:30. So we were well aware of, you need to be on the bus no later than, you need to make sure you're here. And the way the race was set up, it was imperative that we be there on time.
Yeah.
So
the race actually cut through the Epcot parking lot. So Epcot parking lot, the buses drop you here, the start line's way over here, the race runs through it. So after the race starts, you can't sneak your way over to the start line. So they were frankly really clear about that. Yeah. And at every chance they had, told us to be there. There was even a little note in our packet pickup explaining.
Oh yeah. And then we made our way to the bus.
We got on the first bus. They filled it up, and then
it was full.
Yeah. And then we went to the starting area. It was about a mile walk, I think.
It was.
By the time we started the race, I checked my watch. We had already logged 2 miles that day. So some of it was walking around the hotel. You know, Disney resorts are huge. It takes you a while to walk everywhere. It was about a mile from the drop-off starting area to the actual corrals. So we went to the little area. We got through security.
Went to bag check.
We went to the gear bag check to check our clothes that we were going to change into because we didn't have a hotel to go back to and clean up after the race. So we brought a change of clothes so we could hang out at Epcot for a little bit. We went to the bathroom 4 or 5 times. Hydration.
There were about maybe 30,000 porta potties. It's like
a little porta potty city.
Porta potty city, and they're nice. I mean, they're nice, and they have sanitizer and they have, everything you need. But we did our bag check. We stood around. We met our really great bestie, and then we took a picture with Goofy.
And then we headed for the corrals. And it was a long walk to the corrals.
Now this is different for us because the previous Run Disney races we've done are have been the Star Wars half marathons. Yeah. And for that race,
the corrals are right there.
They're right there. Yeah. So the bus drops you off. I don't know. You walk 100 yards.
It's still a pretty decent walk, but it's not.
And then here are the corrals, and you just this was really different because we walked a long time. I mean, a really long time, and then everybody kind of got in their corrals, and
then 5 o'clock rolls around, and the race hasn't started yet. And they're saying, we apologize for the delay, just waiting on making sure the roads are clear. 5:05, no race. 5:15, no race. Finally, at about 5:20, they started the national anthem. And a lot of people complained about having to get up earlier, and I gotta get up. We were super excited that this race was starting at 5 o'clock instead of 5:30 because we know exactly how miserable it is running in heat.
Yeah.
So we wanted 30 more minutes of running in the dark.
Yeah, that would have been great. It really would have.
We got 10 more minutes of running in the dark by the time we started.
It was a little disappointing.
It was really frustrating.
It was.
And you're standing in the corrals, standing, waiting, standing.
Well, so we finally got going, and boy, they shuffled us through the starting line.
Yeah, we were in Corral F, and we started 20 minutes after the race started. So pretty fast to get us through. I remember our first race, it took us 40 minutes to start, and we were probably about that same distance back.
Yeah.
So they really kind of shuffled us out, which was nice. So then we started running. We started sweating immediately. Yep. It was, I think, like 72 degrees out there and a bajillion% humidity. So it was warm before we even started. Yeah. And we ended up having a full sun day, so it really felt very warm once we got going. But I was looking around at people once the sun started coming up, and everybody was just covered in sweat. It was so hot.
The deal is in some sections of the race, because you're either going through a park or going through a wooded area, you have shade. But for a lot of the race, you're running on highway.
Very far away from the trees.
Yeah, you're on asphalt. And there's absolutely no shade, so it got pretty hot.
I have crackers in the oven, and I can smell them.
So, one thing we did for each other at Christmas is we got each other cooling towels.
And they were a godsend. Oh my gosh, we would not have survived if we didn't have those.
If you look at some of our photos, you can see in our hands.
And mine happened to be the exact same color as my dress, so it almost looks like I'm, holding on to fabric.
Yeah, man, they came in handy because if the water stops,
just dump on
them. They're more than happy to dump water all over them.
And my hands get really swollen when I run long distances, and it just felt so nice and cool on my hands.
So from what we understand, it was about 83, 85 degrees.
It was like 85 by the time we finished. And we finished at noon. Noon, right?
I think so.
Around noon, a little after noon, I think. So it had been that warm for a while. It was, looking at the projection, the temperature was supposed to go up fast.
So we ran. We ran at our pace. We did really well. We ran solid. For the most part, and I say for the most part because there are some areas of the race where it bottlenecks so much, there are so many people, you just can't run. So, you have to you have to be aware of your surroundings, and you have to be respectful of the other runners. So everybody just kind of stops, and you kind of squeeze through the bottleneck, and then once it opens, you get going again. But we ran for 15 miles. And it was a pretty good pace considering.
It was exactly our pace.
Yeah, and then we slowed up.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah. It was hot.
Yeah, it was.
It was hot. So we slowed up. By that point, we had made it into Animal Kingdom. It was just before Animal Kingdom.
Just before.
So we had made it through the first pass through Epcot. In this route, we did Epcot immediately. So like mile 2, we're in Epcot. And then we made it through Magic Kingdom. And Magic Kingdom. And then we made it down some back roads. Almost to Animal Kingdom. So we started walk running from that point. We made it through Animal Kingdom. We made it down a long, hot passage to Blizzard Beach.
Right.
And then at Blizzard Beach, actually, so this is an interesting thing. If you've been following the race, you probably already know this. But the organizers, the Run Disney organization, decided to, at some point, cut the race short because the conditions were so treacherous.
Yeah.
So it was so hot. People were having such a hard time. And people were kind of lagging too. I think it had a lot to do with, it had a lot more people that would have potentially been swept, just due to the heat and the conditions.
Yeah.
Because it is January. No, you don't. I mean, even in the South, you don't really expect an 85-degree day in January. So what happened is the race route kind of comes up this highway, and then there's a little offshoot. You kind of turn down the turn to Blizzard Beach. And you run around the parking lot, run around Blizzard Beach, and then come back up the way you came in, and then hit that highway again and keep going this way. So what they did at one point was say, okay, no more people are going this way. And that was a mile and a half, 2 miles down through Blizzard Beach and back. So they just kind of routed those people just on up the highway, forget that offshoot, you're losing a couple miles. And that was mile 21?
21, I think. Pretty sure it was 21.
21, right, because at the end of it we would have been at 22, which was the longest we've run so far.
Yeah.
So, as we're running in, because it's an out and back, basically. So we're running in, we're running across people. People are running out as we're running in. And then at one point, we kind of get around the parking lot, and I turn around, there's nobody behind us.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, what happened to all the people? Did they just sweep a bunch of people? I got really scared because I knew we were slowing down. One thing that we will do in future races, but we didn't do in this one, when we were training, we paused our watches every time we went to the bathroom just so we could get like a truer, this is how fast we're running. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't really matter at like an actual race that has a pretty aggressive time limit. We need to, on our next race, be more honest with ourselves with how long it takes me to take my tights off and put them back on. Because let me tell you, it ended up being like a 5-minute bathroom break every time. Because the tights, and we were so sweaty and whatever. So I thought maybe we had miscalculated our pace. Our true pace. And I got really, really, really concerned. So we ran as much as we could. We were pretty bombed out, but we ran as much as we could through Blizzard Beach. And then when we got to the end, we saw all these people kind of merging with us. And suddenly there were a lot more people with us. Yeah. And we started to gather from what the people were saying around us, what had happened. So we were extraordinarily fortunate to make it through the full 26 miles, 26.2 miles. We were really, really close to being cut. And I can just imagine training for this one day and not being able to do the whole thing. We're really thankful. We're really thankful that we made it through.
I think our training again really came through.
Yeah.
And we were out there longer than we had hoped to be.
We were.
But when we crossed that finish line, knowing that we finally did our first 26.2 mile marathon, we were pretty thrilled.
Yeah. So we made it through Blizzard Beach. We did a few miles up the road to Hollywood Studios. The route this year covered very little of Hollywood Studios. That's fine. Whatever. I mean, I know Hollywood Studios is kind of bananas right now because of Galaxy's Edge, so I'm sure they didn't want to have us traipsing through there too much. So we just kind of went in and out really, really quick. And then down the boardwalk. The boardwalk was well, the path to the boardwalk, rather, the sidewalk that leads from Hollywood Studios to Epcot or to the boardwalk area.
Across the river from the Swan.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a sidewalk. Yeah. It's really, really narrow. Yeah. And so by that point, it was late in the day. Everybody's bombed. So we walked that whole mile. We walked. There was no way to run it. No way at all to run down that hole. So that was a full mile that we were walking. Yeah. But then we made it to the boardwalk and we ran a little more.
Mm-hmm. And, at that point, you're getting close.
Oh, my gosh.
You're getting close.
So
you get into Epcot.
So close. So we turn into Epcot. They take us kind of backstage and spit you out. Where were we? Like Canada? France? Where do they spit us out? UK? Yeah. So we entered Epcot, and the way that the mayor... I've seen this in other videos that we've watched, but I didn't know how choked up I would get. But they blare really, really, really key inspirational songs. Yeah. And as we pulled into Epcot, we've got a mile and a half left. My God, we're so close to being done. They were playing How Far I'll Go from Moana. And that song... if I had any moisture left in my body, I would have been weeping. But instead, I was kind of dry crying. Like, it really, gosh, it got me emotionally. But it was great. Yeah. And then after that, they played Go the Distance from Hercules, and that was awesome. And then they played Almost There from the Tiana. What's the name of the movie?
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog. And it was just, that carried us around the World Showcase, and it was amazing. Yeah. And the pictures that we got from the World Showcase... we're just beaming, even though we're dying. Yeah. We're beaming because it's music and the whole experience, and oh my gosh, it's great. And then we got backstage, and we still had a mile to go backstage, and it was a little bleaker behind the scenes.
yeah, and at that point, once we got to the 26-mile marker, we'd been out there almost 7 hours.
Yeah.
So, we kind of picked it up. We got to, and finally could hear the cheers of the wonderful fans who had stayed that long. Yeah, and there was still a bunch out there, and kudos to them.
It's a long day. They're waiting for somebody specific if they're still out there.
I will say, you don't have shade.
No, the
so those fans are fantastic, and if you ever think about holding a sign up that says "I'm a complete stranger, but I'm proud of you," you don't know how much that means to people like us. Because we're out there, and we don't know anybody out there, and to hear fans cheering and knowing that they've been baking in the sun all day, that's pretty amazing. So there was finish line. We're coming up.
We did it.
We did it. The clock showed official time of 7:11.
Well, from the start, our time was 6:59. 49. 49.
Yeah, 6:49.
6:49. It was about 6:50. So, with our bathroom breaks I'm seriously saying it took me 5 minutes to get my pants back on every time. It's no joke. So we took, that was probably 20 minutes of bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
So, add to that, we totally expected to finish in about 6 hours. So if we add 20 minutes for bathroom breaks and 20 minutes for the heat, I'd say that's a big fat win.
Yeah.
We did all right. The conditions were against us. Nobody said it would happen. Nobody said it would last.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Coach Millie was pulling for us the whole time. And we were just so grateful for the texts we got from people tracking us. You don't know how much.
Us.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes your mind wanders.
Come on, pal. Come here. She's going to knock some stuff over.
Sometimes your mind wanders while you're running, and then you start doubting, and then you get a text saying,
almost there.
Or,
look at you, you're doing great, we're tracking you. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
So are we going to do this again? A lot of people have been asking us that. Mm-hmm. So
actually, a lot of people have assumed we're not.
Yeah,
they're like, well, you did it. Whew, mark that one off the list.
So we are.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And our bodies
even on race day, we learned a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Our bodies are still kind of recovering. I know my feet are still bothering me. I might have an issue with my Achilles. Mm-hmm. Don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So
we'll go to the doctor.
We're going to have to look into that. But are we going to do it again? We're definitely going to do it again.
So one thing we learned that we will definitely do in the future is be mindful of how our immune system will be drained on race day.
Yeah.
So you may tell I'm a little congested. David's been coughing. The happiest place on earth is also a germ factory.
Yeah.
So he got sick by Monday.
Yeah.
And I lasted all week. I think mine are actually allergies from being back home, but whatever, we're both not feeling too super.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do in the future is just take some echinacea, take some vitamin C, like really kind of boost ourselves before and immediately after the race, and see if we can't stave this off, because this has been pretty rough.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever gone on vacation and gotten sick
on vacation.
Yeah, it was really, really bad, but we powered through. I mean, it's the happiest place on earth. Of course, you're going to power through. Yeah, but we're definitely going to do this again. We learned a lot. The training was fantastic. We're going to take a short break.
Yeah, I've got some toenail issues that I've never had in my life. Thank you, 26 miles in 85-degree weather. Yeah. So I got to wait for that to stop hurting so much.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to do it.
Yeah, we are. We are. I don't think we'll do Disney Marathon next year. We're planning to do Wine and Dine, the half marathon, and that's just in like 9 months. Like, it's not that far away. So we will not be doing the Disney Marathon at this time next year, but we'll probably keep an eye on a more local race and see if we can do something around here that will be a little bit different.
And I just want to mention, you've been looking at our pictures, just in case you're wondering. Laura made our running costumes.
We have some videos on that if you want to watch it.
Joy, anger. Yeah, we were really happy, and we got some shout-outs during the run, so that was pretty neat. Yeah. That's always a lot of fun. And a ton of thanks to our bestie for cutting the vinyl.
Oh, the vinyl work, yeah.
Remember, practicing your costumes before you go out on race day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I saw some people out there, and there's no way, A, that they went running in that beforehand, or B, that they survived the race.
There was a guy dressed up as Rocket Man, Elton John. I mean, we're talking full Rocket Man.
Head to toe.
I really hope he was okay.
I hope he lost some layers.
Yeah, it was about 10 pounds worth of costume on there. It looked beautiful. It was fantastic. But, stuff like that, it's kind of interesting. You see a lot of really amazing things on the course. Yeah, so
there you have it. We did a marathon. We're not entirely sure what's coming immediately next. I guess we'll take you along for that.
Yeah.
That journey too.
If you have questions about the event, if you have questions to us about how we're feeling, or ask us things, I'm sure we forgot something. Let us know. We're really excited. We're gonna bring you along for new adventures, because everything we do, always an adventure with you.